Have you ever wondered why certain people entered your life at exactly the moment they did? Why that person who broke your heart appeared when they did? Or why you met your best friend in the most unexpected circumstances? What if I told you that according to ancient Buddhist wisdom there are no random encounters, and every single person who crosses your path is carrying a specific message meant just for you? Stay until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal the hidden pattern behind every relationship in your life. And once you see it, you'll never look at another person the same way again. If you're ready to discover the deeper meaning behind your relationships and transform how you connect with others, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I share transformative wisdom every week that can change your perspective on life and relationships. Now, let's begin this profound journey together. Think about the last person who truly affected you. Maybe it was someone who hurt you deeply, someone who loved you unconditionally, someone who challenged you in ways you didn't expect, or someone who appeared briefly but left a lasting impression. Now, here's what most of us do. We categorize these encounters as good luck or bad luck, as blessings or curses, as random occurrences in a chaotic universe. We think, I was lucky to meet them, or I was unlucky to cross paths with that person. But Buddhism offers a radically different perspective, one that transforms every encounter from a random event into a meaningful moment of cosmic precision. The Buddhist concept of karma is often misunderstood in Western culture. Many people think karma is some kind of cosmic punishment system, where if you do something bad will happen to you, like the universe is keeping score. But that's not what karma actually means. Karma, in its truest sense, is about cause and effect, about the intricate web of connections that link every action, every thought, every intention to future experiences. It's the understanding that nothing exists in isolation, that every moment is shaped by what came before and will shape what comes after. And when it comes to relationships, karma suggests something profound. The people you meet are not accidents. They are drawn to you, and you to them, by invisible threads of past actions, unlearned lessons, and opportunities for growth. Imagine your life as a river flowing through a vast landscape. Every person you encounter is another river that intersects with yours. Sometimes these rivers merge for a while, flowing together, sharing the same current. Sometimes they just touch briefly and continue on separate paths. But every intersection, every merging, every parting happens because of the terrain, because of where each river has flowed before, because of the landscape of karma that guides the water. You didn't randomly bump into that person at the coffee shop who became your business partner. You didn't coincidentally sit next to that stranger on the plane who said exactly what you needed to hear. You didn't accidentally fall in love with someone who would teach you your most important lessons about yourself. This perspective completely changes how we view our relationships. Instead of seeing them as random gambles, we start seeing them as purposeful encounters. Each person is a messenger, delivering information about who you are, what you need to learn, where you need to grow. And here's the beautiful and sometimes uncomfortable truth. The message isn't always pleasant. Sometimes the messenger is someone who hurts you, betrays you, disappoints you. And our natural response is to label that person as bad, to curse the day we met them, to wish they had never entered our lives. But Buddhism asks us to look deeper, to ask, what is this person teaching me? Let me share a real-life example that many of us can relate to. You enter a relationship full of hope and excitement. Everything feels perfect at first. This person seems to understand you, to complete you, to be exactly what you've been looking for. But then, over time, cracks appear. Maybe they're unreliable, maybe they're critical, maybe they're emotionally unavailable. The relationship becomes painful. You feel hurt, confused, maybe even betrayed. Eventually, it ends, often badly. And you're left wondering, why did I have to go through that? Why did I meet this person if it was just going to cause pain? The Buddhist answer is, because they were teaching you something essential. Maybe they were showing you patterns you need to break. Maybe they were reflecting back to you your own fears or insecurities. Maybe they were teaching you about boundaries, about self-worth, about what you will and won't accept. Maybe they were showing you that you've been seeking completion in another person when the work of becoming whole is an inside job. The pain wasn't random cruelty from an uncaring universe. It was a lesson, delivered by a messenger you had to meet. This doesn't mean you should stay in harmful relationships or accept mistreatment. It means that even the relationships that hurt you have something to teach you, and once you learn the lesson, you can move forward with wisdom rather than just bitterness. Every difficult relationship is like a mirror held up to your inner world, showing you something about yourself that you might not have seen otherwise. And this brings us to a profound principle. The people you meet reflect your inner world. This is one of those ideas that sounds simple but has layers of depth that can take years to fully understand. On the surface level, it means that judgmental people trigger you because you're judgmental of yourself. Critical people bother you because you have a harsh inner critic. People who seem to have their lives together make you feel inadequate because you're struggling with self-doubt. But it goes even deeper than that. The qualities you admire in others are often qualities you possess but haven't fully owned or developed in yourself. The things that irritate you in others are often things you're denying in yourself. The patterns you keep experiencing in relationships, the same types of people you keep attracting, the same conflicts that keep arising, these aren't coincidences. They're showing you something about your inner landscape, about unhealed wounds, about unconscious beliefs, about parts of yourself that are calling for attention and integration. Think about someone in your life right now who really bothers you. Not just mildly annoys you, but deeply triggers something in you. What quality do they have that irritates you so much? Are they arrogant, needy, controlling, passive? Now, here's the challenging question. Where does that quality live in you? This doesn't mean you're exactly like that person. It means that quality, in some form, exists within you. And seeing it externalized in another person is uncomfortable because it's showing you something you'd rather not see. Maybe you pride yourself on being independent and self-sufficient, and you're constantly irritated by needy people. But could it be that you've repressed your own needs, that you're denying the part of you that wants support and connection? Maybe you value spontaneity and freedom, and you're bothered by people who are rigid and controlling. But could it be that you're afraid of commitment? That you avoid structure because it feels like a trap? The external always reflects the internal. The people who bother you the most are often your greatest teachers because they're showing you the parts of yourself you've disowned or denied. And the people you love, the ones you're drawn to, they're also mirrors. They reflect back to you either the qualities you've developed and recognize in yourself, or the qualities you're seeking to develop. That friend who's so compassionate and patient, you're drawn to them because compassion exists in you too, and their presence helps you access that part of yourself. That mentor who's wise and grounded, you admire them because wisdom and groundedness are seeds within you waiting to grow, and being around them waters those seeds. This understanding transforms how we engage with every single person we meet. Instead of just reacting to people, judging them, categorizing them as good or bad for us, we start asking, what is this person showing me about myself? What am I meant to learn from this encounter? How is this relationship helping me evolve? This doesn't mean every relationship should continue forever. Some people are meant to be in your life for a season, to teach you a specific lesson, and then the relationship naturally completes. Some people are in your life for a longer journey, but every single one, whether they stay for a day or a lifetime, is part of your evolution. Now, let's talk about something that causes tremendous suffering in relationships, our inability to accept their impermanent nature. We meet someone, we fall in love, we build a life together, and we think, either consciously or unconsciously, that this is how it will always be. Or we make a close friend, and we assume they'll be in our lives forever. Or we have a mentor who guides us, and we can't imagine our path without them. And then, inevitably, things change. The romantic relationship ends, or it transforms into something different. The friend moves away, or grows in a different direction. The mentor passes on or is no longer available. And we suffer, not just because of the loss itself, but because we're resisting the fundamental truth of existence. Everything changes. Buddhism teaches that impermanence is not a flaw in the design of the universe. It's the nature of reality. Nothing stays the same. Not your body, not your thoughts, not your circumstances, and not your relationships. Fighting against this truth is like fighting against gravity. You can resist it all you want, but it won't change the reality. And that resistance, that clinging to the way things were or the way we wish they would stay, that's what causes suffering. Not the change itself, but our desperate attempt to freeze time, to make permanent what is inherently temporary. Conscious love, the Buddhist approach to relationships, embraces this impermanence. It says, I will love you fully right now, in this moment, without clinging to you, without trying to possess you, without demanding that you stay exactly as you are, or that this relationship remain exactly as it is. I will appreciate every moment we have together, knowing that this too will change. I will hold you with an open hand, not a closed fist. This might sound cold or detached to modern ears. We're taught that love means forever, that commitment means never changing, that depth requires permanence. But consider this. Isn't it possible to love more deeply, more authentically, more fully when you're not suffocated by the fear of loss? When you accept that this person might not be in your life forever, you stop taking them for granted. You stop waiting for the perfect moment to express your love or appreciation. You stop holding grudges over small things because you recognize how precious and temporary this connection is. You show up more fully in the present moment because you're not lost in fantasies about the future or fears about what might end. Paradoxically, accepting impermanence often makes relationships deeper and more genuine. It removes the desperate clinging, the neediness, the attempt to control, and it allows love to flow more freely. This doesn't mean you don't commit or invest in relationships. It means you commit and invest with wisdom, understanding that commitment isn't about making something permanent. It's about being fully present and engaged for as long as the relationship serves both people's growth and evolution. Some relationships will last a lifetime, evolving and changing, but maintaining their essential connection. Others will complete their purpose and naturally end. Both are valuable. Both are teaching you something essential. Both are part of your journey. And here's where we come to perhaps the most transformative idea. Every person you meet is a messenger of your own growth. Not just the people who obviously teach you something, like mentors or teachers, but every single person. The cashier at the grocery store who smiled at you when you were having a terrible day. The stranger who cut you off in traffic and triggered your anger. The colleague who challenged your ideas in a meeting. The child who looked at you with innocent curiosity. The elderly person who reminded you of your own mortality. Every single encounter is an opportunity to discover something about yourself. Think about it this way. You are constantly becoming who you are through your interactions with others. Every conversation, every conflict, every moment of connection shapes you. You learn about your patience through the person who tests it. You learn about your capacity for forgiveness through the person who hurts you. You learn about your ability to love through the person who opens your heart. You learn about your strength through the person who challenges you. You learn about your compassion through the person who suffers in front of you. Every person is participating in your evolution, whether they know it or not, whether they intend to or not. So, here's a question I want you to sit with, and I'd love to hear your reflection in the comments. Think about one person who deeply affected your life, someone you might have initially seen as coming into your life by chance. What did that person teach you about yourself? What quality did you develop? What lesson did you learn? What part of yourself did you discover through knowing them? Share your story below, because your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. The beauty of seeing every person as a messenger is that it removes the victim mentality from our relationships. When someone hurts us, we're no longer just passive victims of their cruelty. We're students receiving a difficult but important lesson. When someone loves us, we're not just lucky recipients of their affection. We're recognizing a quality in ourselves that attracted that love, that made us ready to receive it. When someone leaves, we're not just abandoned. We're being guided to the next stage of our journey, to new encounters, new lessons, new growth. This perspective requires a fundamental shift in how we view ourselves and our lives. It requires seeing yourself not as a random collection of experiences happening to you, but as a conscious being on a journey of evolution, where every experience, every person, every joy and pain is precisely what you need for your growth in this moment. It requires trusting that there's a deeper intelligence at work. Call it karma, call it the universe, call it the Tao, call it whatever resonates with you, that is orchestrating these encounters in service of your awakening. Now, some people hear this and worry that it means we should accept everything passively, that we shouldn't have boundaries or make choices about who we allow in our lives. But that's not what this teaching means at all. You can recognize that someone is in your life for a reason, that they're teaching you something, and simultaneously choose to limit or end that relationship if it's unhealthy. The lesson might be precisely about learning to set boundaries, to honor yourself, to walk away from what doesn't serve your growth. The messenger doesn't have to stay in your life for the message to be received. Part of conscious living is discerning which relationships to nurture and which ones to release. Some people are meant to be close companions on your journey. Others are meant to cross your path briefly. Still, others are meant to show you what you don't want, to help you clarify your values and boundaries. All are valuable. All are serving your evolution, but not all need to remain in your daily life. You can be grateful for the lesson while also choosing to move forward without that person. This is where wisdom comes in, alongside karma. Karma brings people into your life, but wisdom helps you understand what to do with those encounters. Wisdom says, this person is teaching me about my patterns of codependency, and now that I see it, I can choose differently. Wisdom says, this relationship is showing me what genuine love feels like, and I should nurture this connection. Wisdom says, this person keeps disappointing me not because they're bad, but because I keep expecting them to be someone they're not, and I need to either accept them as they are or release the relationship. Wisdom is the discernment that allows you to extract the lesson from each encounter and then make conscious choices about how to move forward. And here's something beautiful that happens as you start living with this awareness. Your relationships become lighter, freer, more authentic. You stop carrying the heavy burden of resentment because you understand that even the people who hurt you were part of your growth. You stop clinging desperately to relationships because you trust that the right people will be in your life at the right time. You stop feeling like a victim of your relationship history because you recognize yourself as the central character in a meaningful story of evolution and growth. You also become more present with each person you meet. That conversation with the barista isn't just a transaction. It's a moment of human connection, an opportunity to practice kindness, to see another soul. That disagreement with your partner isn't just a conflict to win. It's an opportunity to understand yourself better, to practice communication, to grow together. That painful ending of a friendship isn't just a loss to grieve. It's a completion of one chapter and the opening of space for what comes next. This level of awareness also changes what you bring to your relationships. When you understand that you're not just passively receiving what others give you, but actively participating in a mutual exchange of growth and evolution, you start asking yourself, what kind of messenger am I being in other people's lives? What lessons am I teaching through my presence, my words, my actions? Am I reflecting back to others their beauty and potential, or their fears and limitations? Am I helping people grow, or am I contributing to their stagnation? This isn't about being perfect or putting pressure on yourself to be some idealized version of a person. It's about being conscious and intentional about the energy and influence you bring into others' lives. The most profound relationships are the ones where both people understand this principle, where both see each other as mirrors and messengers, where both are committed to using the relationship as a vehicle for growth and evolution. These relationships can weather tremendous storms because both people understand that difficulties aren't reasons to abandon ship. They're opportunities to grow. These relationships can experience deep intimacy because both people are willing to be vulnerable, to be seen, to reflect honestly what they see in the other. These relationships can let go gracefully when it's time, because both people understand that completion doesn't diminish the value of what was shared. But even if you're the only one in a relationship who understands these principles, your awareness still transforms your experience. You stop waiting for the other person to change or to meet your expectations. You recognize that their behavior is showing you something about yourself that needs attention. You take responsibility for your own growth rather than blaming them for your unhappiness. And often, when you shift your own consciousness in a relationship, the dynamic shifts naturally, even if the other person isn't consciously aware of these principles. As we move toward the conclusion, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your entire relationship history with this new perspective. All those people who came and went, all those connections that formed and dissolved, all those moments of joy and pain, they weren't random chaos. They were a curriculum specifically designed for your evolution. Every heartbreak cracked you open in a way that allowed more light in. Every betrayal taught you about trust and discernment. Every deep connection showed you what you're capable of giving and receiving. Every loss taught you about impermanence and letting go. Every person you loved taught you something about love, and equally important, about yourself. If you found value in this exploration of relationships through the lens of Buddhist wisdom, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. I'm dedicated to sharing teachings that can genuinely transform how you experience life, love, and your own personal growth. Your subscription supports this work and ensures you don't miss future videos. Now, for the secret I promised at the beginning, the hidden pattern that changes everything once you see it. Here it is. You are not meeting people randomly and learning lessons from them. You are attracting exactly the people and experiences you need for your next stage of growth. The universe isn't throwing random people at you. You are like a magnet, and your inner state, your unhealed wounds, your unlearned lessons, your untapped potentials, they create a specific magnetic signature that draws certain people to you and you to them. When you heal something inside yourself, when you learn a lesson, when you grow past a limitation, your magnetic signature changes, and different people start appearing in your life. The pattern is this: your external relationships are always reflecting and responding to your internal state. Change your inner world, and your outer world of relationships changes automatically. That's the secret. And once you see it, you realize you have far more power over your relationship experiences than you ever imagined. Not power to control others, but power to transform yourself, which naturally transforms everything else.